I just quit my 9 to 6 job to become a full-time content creator. Before you say anything, I know this is gross, but I'm gonna tell y'all. Look at my armpit sweats. Yeah, that's how nervous I was going into the office, thinking about how I was gonna break to them that I was putting my 2 weeks notice in today. Long story short, I just ended up sending an email. I feel like in this economy and in this day and age, the most conflicting thing for a person to go through is wanting to quit their job, but not being able to quit it because they won't be able to afford the cost of living. This is something that had been going on in my mind since 2 a.m. this morning. I spent hours with insomnia thinking last night, what am I gonna do and how am I gonna live if I decide that my time is up? Today it is June 18th as I'm recording this. I think a good chunk of the time you hear positive stories about how content creation has led people to make more than they would ever make in their standard 9 to 5 working 40 hours a week. You really don't hear the negative side of things, and I think that's because a lot of people don't want to admit to failing and trying to create this new life for themselves, but somehow it just ends up flopping and doesn't work. So I figured, why don't I take you guys on the journey anyways?
The journey. Hold on. You should already be there, in my opinion. In my opinion, you should already be a full-time content creator when you decide to quit your job. It should already be paying the bills. It should at least be comparable to your job. Ideally, it should really be more. In my opinion, you shouldn't leave your job until your job actually becomes an opportunity cost. That's in my opinion. And by opportunity cost, I just mean you're looking at your job and you're like, man, if I didn't have this job, I'd have more time to make money. I want to see her content because it doesn't look like she's doing anything super crazy with her content. It's just get ready with me's, lash with me, just stuff you doing to get ready anyway. What's it say? Lash with me. It's putting on lashes. You was gonna do this for work regardless. You could have just really still just filmed yourself getting ready and kept your job, in my opinion.
I ain't even gonna put it in there, but I ain't.
We got to just say what it is, man. People don't want to work. People don't want to work. They don't want to go to work. That's what it really comes down to. They got time. They got tons of time. But we live in a lazy, population now. A lot of people are getting lazy, but yet they argue that it's the worst economy ever and that pretty soon there's not going to be many opportunities. So what are we doing? You could be getting ahead right now. If you pay all your bills with your regular check, if you're making good money with content, then that could be all savings right there. And ideally investments. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And it's really just a click. Really just a click. So if you're here anyway, you might as well click that like button. And also if you can hype the video as well.
It doesn't work. So I figured, why don't I take you guys on the journey anyways? As I start this journey of becoming a content creator full time, I still want to find a job that resonates with who I am personally, but I know that the fields that I've worked in so far, I just haven't really resonated with them as much as I do with content creation. So I hope you guys enjoy all of the videos that'll be coming out soon, because I will be doing this full time. I did just get me a new iPhone 17 before I left this job, so not only do I have this fancy camera, but I also have the fancy camera that you're watching me on right now. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see in the comments down below.
So you already had a camera. You see how she'll make excuses to just do what she want to do anyway. You're literally filming using a fancy camera. You're saying you just bought an iPhone before you quit your job. So now you have this fancy camera. This camera looks just fine, man. Just say you wanted the new iPhone. She's trying to use it like, well, I needed another camera. You see how people will start making excuses for their bad decisions and try to make it seem like it is actually feasible and practical when it's really not. She thought this was the time when she decided to quit her job to buy a phone that costs over $1,000. She thought this was the time. If you wanted the phone, you could have just incentivized yourself to stay at your job a little bit longer and then you can get the phone. That could have been your incentive and then you'd have still had a little bit of money coming in. But again, man, some people got to find out the hard way. But all I'm going to say is don't come on here begging if it don't work out.
This is how I got fired from a 9 to 5 job, making content on the clock. Let's get into it. So
Hey,
boom,
content
it
on the
was like
clock.
around 2022, around April. Like this shit happened like after my birthday. So so I was working for this company. I ain't even gonna put it in there, but I ain't gonna lie, the company was fine. I was making about 2,700, 3,000 every 2 weeks, man. The job was sweet. Get paid per diem, you know, they pay for the hotel, the food, travel, they pay for everything. Everything was sweet now. Now, I was 21 around the time, but I got fired when I was like 22, like I said, it was like after my birthday. Now, mind you, I've been doing content since I was 15 years old. I stayed getting fired from jobs. I ain't gonna lie. So the shit was nothing new to me. But the thing, like, bro, like, I really fuck with this job. You know what I'm saying? I've been working at this job for a smooth, going on about 6 months, 7 months. I ain't had a job for long now. Now, this is the video that I got fired for. I'm gonna drop a 15-minute clip. Here it go.
Oh, I'm glad he muted it for the copyright. I appreciate that. So that was his job. So it looks like he was traveling too if he was getting a per diem. So they was having him
Was I
traveling.
wrong? Was I wrong? I was working that job 6 days a week, and I only had one day off. And I was working 12 hours.
Well, here's the thing, man. It didn't look that crazy to me. It didn't look that crazy to me. So like some people, they'll do the most unprofessional things with a company's brand logo right on their shirt. They'll say the most craziest things, do the most craziest things. It looked like he was just having a little fun. It didn't really look. It looked pretty wholesome in my opinion. But see, this is what you gotta think. This is what you gotta keep in mind, young brother. This is what you gotta keep in mind, especially when you getting started. It's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna try to discourage you, and it's like you get out into the job force, especially if you start getting into some pretty good jobs. Sound like he was moving towards some type of career progression that he could have made for himself and get some skills. There's gonna be people there already who have been doing it and who see you come like this is the accumulation of their life. This is the self-actualization of their finality. Meaning, man, you might be working with some dudes that's 40, 50, and this is the pinnacle for them. Then they see you, I think he said he's what, 21? And this is like you just getting started. You probably working with older dudes, man. They be bragging out here trying to get young girls or whatever. Talking about, yeah, I get like what he said. I get about 3,000 every 2 weeks. I can take good care of you, this, that, and the third. And so now they see you coming along, and there may be a little bit of envy, a little bit of hate. And then it also, to add insult to injury, what'll happen too, you're a good looking guy. They really want to be like, nah, because I'm going to just address the elephant in the room, man. They might look at you as competition. They be like, nah, he ain't, this is where I beat him. He ain't going to be getting good money too. And I'm just being real. That's what you got to deal with sometimes. So what you got to do when you first getting out here, which he probably didn't notice, you're going to have to learn the hard way. But I can tell he's driven. I can tell he'll be all right. It's actually going to be this type of thing when people hate on you like this. What that actually does is that lights a fire under you. And you just got to endure it. You got to keep moving. You got to really let it be your driver, because that really isn't BS. That's a labor job. Man, you acting like he just got a yellow vest on. I think it was some hate going on. And so you'll be all right long term. But see, he didn't have nobody tell him, like, yeah, keep your nose clean. Stay out the way. Come in, do your job, go home. So, I mean, you did do it to yourself, but it could have been some ulterior motives for why they got rid of you, is all I'm saying.
Wrong? Was I wrong? I was working that job 6 days a week, and I only had one day off. And I was working 12-hour shifts. Literally, I would work from 6 in the morning, had to get up at 5, go around 6, and get off at 6 in the afternoon, evening. I'm tired, nigga, tired. You know what I'm saying? And I'll probably make videos at the hotel, or I'll probably make videos, you know what I'm saying, like at the beach or somewhere like that. But it was just like, I'm gonna bring it to the job. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still chasing my dreams. Like, that's the problem. Like, we too busy chasing somebody else's dreams. We ain't chasing our dreams. So I'm gonna chase my dreams. So boom, okay, so the video I just dropped, That was the video when it went viral. So the office manager, they saw the video. Everybody in the office, they seen the video. Boom, boom, boom. I'm thinking I'm cool. So my homeboy Braden, shout out to Braden, real nigga, man. He got me the job. You know what I'm saying? So boom, he bring it up to my attention. He like, hey, such and such, wondering if you a good worker, you this and that. Now with Braden, right? I've been working with him like warehouses and stuff like that, so he know I'm a good worker. You get what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no pretty.
And here's the thing too, there wasn't even really, from what I saw, nothing in that video to be able to flag the company that he works. So he also made a misstep in that he probably has a lot of his coworkers able to pull him up on his social media or whatever pretty easily, whether it's by phone number or whether you just literally follow them. And so he's not thinking. He's not thinking long term. He's not thinking as far as the risk that could be associated. If you are going to be doing these things, again, I don't think it was that bad. But if you are going to be doing it, then you got to make sure that you have some type of a long-term vision of just seeing what type of risk can come into this and then hedging against those. And the biggest way is just do not have people at your job on your social media for any reason. It could be anything else. You could like to race scat packs or whatever. And then they see that and they be like, oh no, we got to get rid of this guy. Just keep your social media separate from your professional world. And ideally, again, I wouldn't have even been making the videos, because what it can also indicate is that on the clock, you're not doing nothing. Which what you'll find, what you'll actually be surprised, a lot of blue collar jobs, they actually don't be doing nothing. But the main office don't know that. So now you're on social media. If it get back to them, then that can mess it up for everybody, because you may have a contract somewhere, because as you can see, they have to travel a lot. So you're not going to be able to really supervise, from headquarters everywhere they go. They just complete the mission. And so they may be making it seem like it's more work than what it actually is. And a lot of these jobs, they may knock it out in an hour, and then they really just be chilling for like 3 days, not doing nothing. But now we have some video representation of it. And so that can also mess it up for everybody too. So he ain't thinking about that, because he's just thinking about himself and his dreams.
With Braden, right? I've been working with him like warehouses and stuff like that, so he know I'm a good worker. You get what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no pretty boy. I get my hands dirty now, for real, for real. So they telling him like, oh, can you tell your homeboy like to chill out on the videos? Can he like chill? Can he not make the video? Blah blah blah. And like he telling me like, I probably want to chill out making the videos. And in my head, I'm like, y'all my second job. This my first job. And mind you, I won't even get paid from content yet. Like, the nigga won't even get paid. But in my head, I'm like, man, fuck that. I make my own shit. This is my shit. You know what I'm saying? This is my brand. You know what I'm saying? So boom, I took a little small break from making the videos on the clock, but I was still making videos around the clock. I'm making the videos. I'm like, nah. The video that hit was the video that went viral. So I said, you know what? I'm finna throw the uniform back on. I'm finna get back on the thing I'm doing. Now my job, like the work I did.
All right, so this dude's an idiot. Dude. So I didn't know you had a warning. When you have a warning like that and you got a good job, a good stable job, and then you said you're not making money off the content, that just means, man, don't take any more risks that can even be perceived. So he's saying he was still doing it around the clock, after the clock. And I'm gonna be real, man. That's really not up for debate if you've been caught making videos while you're actually getting paid, and they just tell you to stop doing that. But see, again, they probably ain't really doing nothing most of the time. But now he's exposing that. And so he's just trying to use his time. He don't want to be idle on the ship or whatever. But brother, you messing up your money. You messing up your money, man. Good jobs are hard to come by right now out here. I guess not if you're willing to do blue collar though. Those are still in pretty good demand. And as you can see, they pay good. See, when he says he's getting a per diem, that means, man, they paying for his hotel and he's getting a little money to be able to eat out every day and do all that good stuff. You had a pretty good job, man. And you're gonna blow it, and content wasn't even making money yet. All you had to do was do it on your after hours and don't have your freaking translucent vest on. But you know what's funny? See, when content creation does start popping, it's like imagine how you could run it up with the content creation and the job. You would have been able to be doing really good at a young age. But you're sabotaging it.
That went viral. So I said, you know what? I'm finna throw the uniform back on. I'm finna get back on the thing I'm doing. Now my job, like the work I did, as y'all seen in the video, is the work. Like we clean up ponds, lakes, rivers, whatever, from like chemical wastes and stuff like that they be dumping in the ponds and stuff like that. So I throw the stuff on again. I throw it on again. I make another video. Here goes another clip.
What type of content is this? You think he gonna does he think he's gonna make a living with this type of content? I don't know. Is that entertaining like that? He said something went viral. I don't know about this, man. You hedging everything on the line for this. It don't seem like you really doing nothing for real. Nah, man. You're not gonna get out the hood with this type of content. Maybe there's a lane, a niche that I don't know about, but you had a good job, man. You
See what I'm
Yeah, you had a good
saying? Like,
job.
you feel me? Like, people want to see stuff like that. You can't knock that. You can't knock it. So, you know, I make the video, everything cool, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything cool, like, so I'm making the video in my head. I'm like, I know they finna come get me. I know they finna come get me, but at that time, I had it in my head to how much money I'm gonna make before I leave the job. I ain't reached my goal, but I reached some of it. So,
Yeah, goals
boom,
and everything.
they hit him up again. They like, now my homeboy Braden, he like, hey, I ain't gonna lie, you probably need to chill out. And so in my head, I already came to the conclusion. I'm like, man, fuck this job. I'm gonna go full throttle. You know what I'm saying? That always been me. Always been the type to be like, I don't care about keeping the job because this is the same job that's gonna replace me tomorrow. They probably had interviews when they saw the first video. So why not keep going? They're gonna get rid of me anyways, and I can tell. You can tell by people's energy when they're gonna let you go. So therefore,
Maybe so, but just let it happen. Keep going to work, and because you might be wrong. You might be wrong. And if you just stop the videos, and it also comes down to your attitude and your demeanor. When they bring it up, as far as the videos being a problem, are you just sitting there, but still some of your energy is still festering internally, where you may not be aware of it, but it's still coming out outwardly where people could feel it and recognize it? That's what we got to understand. Or are you literally just genuinely just saying, I understand, man, I was doing the most, but then your actions further show that you don't care because they told you not to do it and you chose to do it despite that. And so that's also an indication that you just don't give a F. And so, I mean, you did it to yourself, and now you sitting at home with nothing to do except make content. And I don't think content was paying like that. I don't think content was paying
I
like
didn't need to
that.
be there anyway. I'm not gonna miss being a team player because it didn't even come with hazard pay. Hey y'all, Auntie here, listen.
Her caption says, I finally get to quit my job because of TikTok.
Hey y'all, Auntie here, listen. I finally get to quit my job, and it's all because of your support and TikTok. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna share my secret at the end, but here is what I am not gonna miss about going to work. I'm not gonna miss being the go-to person. No, I don't like that energy. I'm not gonna miss my computer freezing up because I feel like that was a sign from the universe. I didn't need to be there anyway. I'm not gonna miss being a team player because it didn't even come with hazard pay. I'm not gonna miss, hey, can we hop on a quick call? No, but you can go hop into traffic. I'm not gonna miss sending per my last email because it just got me closer to a court date. Okay, no, I'm gonna miss those. Okay, here's the secret, y'all. I ain't quit my job. I got to go clock in right now. But I am just practicing manifesting what I want to happen. My bad for playing in y'all's face for the last 45 seconds.
Okay. Well, I can relate to some of that. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be the go-to person at your job because they can just get comfortable with you being right there. And then it can be easy to just keep you there. And basically, you can't ascend in your career as well as you're getting paid the same as everybody else at your level. But you got to be this resource for everybody else. You can't just do your job. And that's going to come with a lot of people contacting you and all this type of stuff. And it's like, it doesn't really make sense as far as being worth it because you be contributing and it's like, well, what am I getting out of this? I'm not getting nothing. You just it really is like taking advantage. See, in certain dynamics when it comes to working with a corporation, see, if you take the corporation out of it and you just make it a relationship like you and any other person, then you would say that the other side's not reciprocating for everything you're doing. But when we put it in the context of a corporation, then all of a sudden, oh, just everybody contribute, just share everything and do this. But it's like, well, you got to pour back into this relationship as well. But it's not seen like that, especially right now in this economy, because that side, and of course, one side has far more leverage currently. And, typically when people have leverage, and it depends. Maybe you have leverage. Maybe you got all your ducks set in a row and you don't need the job. But at the same time, it's like, but I was happy to be here. Regardless, even if I got everything in a row, I still want to keep making this or whatever, or stay here. But I would say they have more leverage. They can easily go get somebody else, especially right now.
I hear a lot of them say that.
A lot of them are still broke. Especially now, like with the viral moments. Oh, you the guy from the thing.
You the
They be
guy
like,
who do the skits.
Yeah. Be like, oh, like yeah,
But
like
you'll hear a lot of influencers who were like, yeah, like my stuff skyrocketed, but I was broke. So you'll hear a lot of them say that.
a lot of them are still broke.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with I guess you could say motion, but they're broke though. It doesn't necessarily translate into real dollars. And that could be for a plethora of reasons. It could be the platform that you chose. It could be the format that you chose. It could be you just not monetizing it yourself. You got to pick your heart. It's going to be hard either way. YouTube is one of the more monetizable because you get AdSense revenue, but you still got to be able to generate at least consistent views, and you got to be able to do long form, and you also can't get stale. It's hard not to get stale with long form.
There was a time where I was making enough money
It says quitting my nursing job to be a content creator.
as a content creator to quit my 9 to 5 as a nurse, but I didn't for a few reasons, and I want to discuss that just in case you're thinking of leaving your 9 to 5. Firstly, content is extremely volatile. There are ups and downs with content creation all the time in terms of budgets that brands have in order to pay for brand deals with content creators. We have quarters, and brands sometimes have bigger budgets for certain quarters like Christmas versus others like spring. And so because I knew how volatile content was, I didn't want to put all of my eggs in the content creation basket because I knew that I was not yet at a space where I could fully rely on it. But even though I had a lot of followers, over 200,000 subscribers on YouTube, there was another problem that I had, and I didn't want to trap myself in that, and that was over niching down. Eventually, a lot of people started asking me for skincare tips, and that's really what took me over the edge. Because for a long time, I was stuck at around 20,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, and then within 1 month, I blew up to over 70,000, and then
So what did
within
you
that
do?
year, I was at over 160,000. But it wasn't something that I was willing to box myself into, which leads me to my next point, which is burnout. Not only was I
What do you
getting
mean?
burnt out
I wish she would have elaborated what she meant as far as over niching down. But let's
the
continue. Burnout.
consistent amount of brands constantly trying to take advantage of me, I didn't want to burn myself out by consistently accepting lowball offers just because my bills relied on it. But I was also starting to feel creative burnout, but not in the way that you think. Creative burnout because I didn't have the space to actually express or share my creativity in the way that I wanted to. I felt like I had to suppress the things that I wanted to talk about just to continue to give my audience what it is that they wanted at the time, which was skincare. That quickly took the joy out of content creation for me, to the point where I abandoned my page that was generating me thousands of dollars per month for over 3 years.
Yeah, and you'll get burnt out because you'll be doing it because you need the money instead of just for the love. Because sometimes you may have to make concessions. You may have to say, because it's still your creative expression at the end of the day. This is your channel. This is your content. So for one, you can start having expectations of what people want to see, but also, especially if you're really just trying to go for the numbers, then you may not be able to express yourself as creatively anymore. And that can also lead to burnout because you're ultimately dreading what you have to do. I think when she was saying she was over niching down, I think what she was referring to was just for the brands. I think by her niching down so granularly, what ended up happening is there were fewer amount of brands that she could go after. And then, that's less competition because ultimately you can really only do one brand, in a video or whatever the case. So the more options you got, the more you can make sure that the deal is set up correctly and you're actually getting what you're valued for. So it sounds like that helped her out. But yeah, the burnout can be real. And I mean, that's in anything. I think that's why you see a lot of people who can't wait to quit their job and all this type of stuff. It's the burnout. And so I feel like you got to be diversified in your progress. You got to be diversified in your progress. And one area that people can definitely diversify if you're doing content is just keep your job. Keep your job. And then that way you're also progressing in that as well. And I say job, but ideally, I hope it's a career or profession, something that actually appreciates over time. The more time you put in it, the more experience you ultimately get, which ultimately makes you more valuable as a professional.
The joy out of content creation for me, to the point where I abandoned my page that was generating me thousands of dollars per month for over 3 years, and it has now pretty much flopped. And lastly, my brand name was so important to me. Now, getting consistent brand deals is one thing, but getting consistent brand deals that align with the type of content that
that means your comments, you get on this app.
The caption says broke content creators
hating for free. You don't got your real name. You ain't got no real picture. You're just a ghost. You are along with the bots. That means your comments, your DMs is energy that you are expending. You see, before I record, before I scroll on this app, I go to this thing called the back end, where it gives you data and statistics, also how much you get paid. And when I go in the back end, I see that I got paid on the 15th. I see that there's money waiting for me for next month. So I do the logical thing. I put my name and likeness, reputation to continue to build this app. You, on the other hand, you're building this app for free. That's the slave mentality. You see, you just like the slaves back then that they brought on into this country. They built it for free. They ain't put no sweat equity, no name equity. They're just ghosts, right? They're just ghosts. Like, how about you switch that hate and mindset? And
so to contextualize this, what it sounds like is it sounds like he's addressing people in the comments, I'm guessing. And he's basically saying, I do this and I get paid for it. And I'm guessing he's saying you leave comments. He might have been getting some negative comments or something like that. And he's saying you're doing that for free. Okay. Let's finish it out. I mean, you got to come on here and you got to express that. If you got to express that and you got to, I mean, it could possibly be true, especially if it's negativity. But this may be an indication if you got to come on here and you got to go on a whole rant about it, that it could be getting to you as well.
They're just ghosts. Like, how about you switch that hate and mindset and ask yourself, how do I get paid? How do I offer value? That's what you need to think about. Your DMs, when I see like no profile picture, no name, I don't respond to that. I just keep it pushing, because that's just a waste of time, a waste of energy. You, my friend, are wasting your time and energy. So why should I engage with you? You're just gonna pull me down with you. I'm on the up and up. I'm like, all right, getting paid. Let me throw this at Bitcoin. Let me throw this into my savings. Let me throw this into my investments. You get on here, you like, how could I piss off all these other people? You like, come on, dog. I'm trying to get you paid too. Even my haters, because I understand I was just like you at one point in time. I was dumb and ignorant. I didn't see it. I was hating too. And I was broke too. So listen, I want the best for you. All right? Update your name, put your face on your profile picture, and get to work.
It's kind of ironic though, because he doesn't really have a lot of views. Maybe some of his other content, but just this post alone has 11 likes, no comments. So you're not really getting a lot of engagement. You're not really getting a lot of views. I mean, yes, he doesn't really have much motion, I'm gonna be honest, especially for TikTok. So I don't know where that's coming from. It sounds like it's getting to him, and he's at that pivotal point, right? I mean, he does have some success. He's got 14,000 on TikTok, which is not that much, but it's decent. 400,000 likes. He says he's a coach, writer, filmmaker. And so you're at that point to where it's going to be a lot of people that's going to try to deter you. And I don't know why they do that, but it does happen at like a build up point where you're seeing some success, but you're still not over to where it's like people know whether or not you're going to be able to sustain that, and that they can depend on seeing you consistently and you be able to still maintain that same quality consistently. You're at that point where for some reason, yeah, people will try to discourage you or whatever. But funny enough, what actually will happen too, if you stick with it and stay around, them same people, you start keep having success, they're gonna be right back showing love. It's kind of crazy. They're gonna be showing love, most of them. The ones that's just genuinely hating, because maybe something they saw they just didn't like, they gonna keep hating, but they still really showing love. They supporting, they continue engaging. They really be your biggest fans. I'm not gonna lie. They're gonna be the biggest hater is really your biggest fan. Cause I guarantee you, every time you post, they're gonna be right there hating. It's like, so you watch me every day. So it got to him. It got to him. Man, I'm gonna be real, man. Some of y'all have fragile egos. Some of y'all have very fragile egos. Most people in America have very fragile egos. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't take much. They could mishear something and automatically be like, what? What? It's like, my guy, relax. And what it really just comes back to is it's an insecurity. If it can get to you that easily and that effectively, and then also compel you to action, i.e., you coming online and doing a rant, addressing stuff, you're telling people that they need to say their energy, but you just gave your energy. And like I said, I know you were saying they do it for free, but that video, you did it for free because it didn't get no comments. It only got like 10 likes. It didn't really get no views. So you did that video for free too. So it's kind of ironic. But y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days, and hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice if you want to hype to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And also, if you want to become a member of the channel as well, join buttons on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you will get badges next to your comments. where it will show people that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and also exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. So again, if you want to become a member, join buttons on the video. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.